In the 1960s, terror hits the streets of Northern California. Known to be one of the most famous serial killers in the United States, and still to this day, the identity of this man remains unknown. I'm, of course, talking about the Zodiac Killer. I'm your host, Casey.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jagged Jaw Joe.
I'm Matt.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what everyone knows about the Zodiac.
I actually know quite a bit. Go ahead.
I was just
you
gonna say,
go, Joe.
You go. You already did it.
Fine,
I
go.
know that is the sketch artist drew him like Bobby Hill. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh yeah,
or kind of like Chester from the Breaking the Habit music video. That's what he kind of looks like.
I know quite a bit about the Zodiac.
Okay, Dad.
Zodiac
I'm
Killer
okay,
just
Dad.
because I'm interested in serial killer stuff. I've listened to podcasts about him. I've watched 2 movies, dramatic movies, plus other like documentary stuff about him.
One was a porno.
Yeah. But in case you guys didn't know, like the Zodiac, the one with Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, that's a remake. There's like one that came out like a long time ago. It's similar. It's about.
I was actually gonna watch that before this, but
it's a good movie.
We bumped it up a bit, so I didn't get to do all my bonus extra shit that I
So
always
he
do.
walks up on the unsuspecting victims and he's like, "Hey, what's your sign?"
Oh my god! But
Well, dude,
yeah, I got
gross. Stab.
Like me and all my siblings, we are really into like that true crime and serial killer stuff. So it's like my sister, she has a couple books. One is called like the Serial Killer Encyclopedia, and like it has a bunch of them and how they were caught and shit like that. It's pretty cool. I might actually go grab it, see what's in there.
There's another book. It's called That Aquarius
like
Does Not Agree with My Sign.
Excerpt.
Yeah, hold on.
I got. Oh, do you? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, I could actually, while he goes and does that, I can just give some like little quick facts about it. So between December 1968 and October 1969, the killer was attributed to 5 people for sure in the San Francisco area. But he claims to have killed at least, I think it was like 37 people. And yeah, he operated in the burbs
of the Northern California area.
Yeah. See, they say Northern California, but I don't agree with that because I feel like the Bay Area is not Southern California, but Central California, like mid California. But people always attribute like below that. They always go to Bakersfield for the Central California, but I feel like anything Bay Area is like Central California. Anything Sacramento and up is like Northern California.
That's how I feel too, but they always consider Bay Area Northern. But
yeah, that's what
it's not just the Bay Area, but he also it's thought that he was also doing shit in fucking LA and shit. But
yeah, I'm just talking about the ones that
a lot of serial killers at the time. Like there was a lot of serial killers at the time. Like some of the kills have mistakenly been attributed to the Zodiac at the time were actually the Golden State Killer.
Which didn't they find who that was recently?
Yeah, with like the 23andMe thing.
And also,
here's something.
Even a lot of the confirmed kills, they still believe that it could have been possibly other killers that did those too.
What's that one? It says serial killers.
The Wikipedia Encyclopedia of Serial Killers, and then there's the Big Book of Serial Killers. So I got 3 here, and I'm gonna I'll go to the trivia one first, just because there might be some weird shit in it because it's trivia. I don't, But
did we ever? I don't know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say though, even the victims they say were his. There's still like investigations into other fucking people that they think possibly did it. The only thing that really links him is that he gives details to the victims that nobody but the killer would be able to know. Wouldn't it be funny if the Zodiac Killer is actually a fucking network of serial killers in California and they just get together and fucking they killed all these people?
This is how I did this.
Hey, this is how I did this. Like, oh, sick. Like, it's like a fucking dark web, but it's actually like a not like a chain letter, but kind of like a
It's like
newsletter.
it's
They all
kind of like
send to each other.
anonymous, but for like serial killers, they're just like a whole
Yeah.
mass group of them, just all good at their job and fucking just murk
You like
people, and they're
killing?
like, "I'm gonna send this
You
in."
you like killing couples in cars? I like killing couples in cars.
We have so
anybody
much
gonna-
in common. How about we
Um,
go do this together? You know, let's go.
You don't have
Let's
to
go
be
to the old
lonely
makeout point and
at
see if some baggers a couple.
serialkillers.com.
So I don't know if Mike was going to cover that. Why he's called the Zodiac?
Oh,
You
he
can
called
do it.
himself that
Yeah, that's
in one of the
yeah.
letters he wrote. So yeah, the
Yeah,
the
I was
crazy
just
thing-
saying because we probably should have started with it's like
yeah,
his
we'll
name.
start with- yeah. The crazy thing about the Zodiac Killer is, and you see this in like other pop culture things, especially in Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs. But he wrote to the media and he wrote to the cops. He fucked with them. He would kill people and then he would write a letter, in
Yeah.
which
he swore that what was it? He would send a what
Which
he
is a
sent,
good
like, little
therapeutic thing to
ciphers-
do.
He sent like little ciphers in each letter to the police that he
Yeah.
swore up and down was going to decode his actual fucking identity.
the one that said that it had his name in it has never been solved. Or actually, I think it might have been solved like super recently, and it was a fucking
Well, the
It's all
most
hella
recent one
clever,
that
it's
got
like-
solved was in 2020, but it never gave his name. There's still 2 more ciphers that haven't been solved out of the 4
Yeah.
that he sent.
But
in.
the one that was solved in 2020 was supposed to be the one that had his name in it, and apparently it wasn't. It fucking trolled him.
Well,
I
they
honestly
used
think,
a I forgot the fucking guy's name. I'd have to scroll to the point, but he I guess the people who cracked the 2021 used the name of someone that they thought was going to be that they thought was the suspect, you know, and they used
Mhm.
his name to crack the cipher, and then they sent it into the FBI, and the FBI has to confirm it and all that shit. But the guy who they sent it in, I forgot his name. I had to go look, but he's dead though. He died in like 2018. So even if
Yeah.
it was him, I mean, they'll find out if it was him or not. But they don't know.
Dude,
Also,
if they really
because
want to
there's
get
been the only DNA that he ever left was the DNA that he sent in on the stamps.
Yep.
for the
they
letters
should
that he sent
if the
in,
police
towards
really
them.
wanted to fuck with them, they wouldn't even have called him the Zodiac Killer. They should have just called him the decoder or the coder or something something hella dumb and be like, I told you guys. I told you
They
guys.
were
that
probably
this
so
is the
scared to set this
Zodiac."
guy off, though. They were probably walking on
Yeah,
eggshells.
they
just
were
with
walking on
anything with this
eggshells,
guy.
especially since he said that he was gonna camp out with a rifle, shoot the tires out on a bus, and then pick them off as they on the school bus, and then pick them off as they came out. The kids.
You guys. Damn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he-
that was in one of the letters he sent. That he said he was gonna do that.
I think the real reason though he chose that name though is because he's an astrology fanatic and the thought of thought killing and speaking code is such a Sagittarius move. And he also stated later to the police that they were total cancers because they were all crabby about the situation.
Are you being serious?
Just grab the
No,
morning
I
newspaper.
just so when I was taking notes, I've evolved into taking notes with my own thoughts in red. And that's something I wrote down. the other day.
You'd grab the morning newspaper and be like,
All right. Right after I wrote
He's not
why he
really
was
gonna be a good
called the
week.
Zodiac, then I wrote my own little thoughts, and I've done that across pages now with stuff. I've taken a liking of making my own little side notes outside of the actual notes.
So he got his name from a watch.
Is that
Yeah,
really
but-
where I got it from?
Yeah, it was a watch that the Zodiac had bought.
He's like,
Does
I really
everyone
like
look into
this.
watches?
Does this say that in one of his ciphers? Because there's someone that they accused,
Is that who they base
of,
Skylar off of? And Heroes?
someone that said that he was a Zodiac or whatever. They accused him of being the Zodiac, and that like one of the things that they were going off was because he wore a Zodiac watch. But I don't know how they would know if the actual killer was rocking one of those or not. You know what I mean? Unless
He
he
said it in a
was.
letter. I'm wearing a 1965 Zodiac watch. Come find me in the city.
It's like the most generic watch too. It's like the fucking Walmart fucking special.
Dude, I'm gonna start I'm gonna start killing people too, and I'm gonna be called the waterproof SpongeBob watch from Burger King in the '90s killer.
Just,
Oh no, wait,
just
no,
every
not
time you kill
waterproof.
someone,
The
just
scratch
leave one of those like cheap ass like Spider-Man or like a fucking SpongeBob watches that just like pop open, but it's like the basic ass digital fucking numbers. You know, it's like the black and white, and it just has a small rectangle screen, and it looks like a fucking calculator almost. And just one of those watches, you kill someone, just lay it on their forehead or something, and just walk away, or put it on their wrist for them.
You want to
I
hear
don't know
something?
why he keeps
That might have
doing
been
this.
early 2000s. I used to like to wear those watches, and then when I took them off, I used to like to smell my wrist where they were at. I think they're the scratch and sniff ones. I don't fucking remember, but I don't think SpongeBob.
Oh, I think I know what
SpongeBob
you're talking
90s?
about.
Or is that 2000s?
No, I know what you're talking about. They had the scented bands or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what. I think it was SpongeBob. It could have been anything else.
Yeah, I'm sure there was all the fucking characters. Like Scooby Doo had that one smelled like Scooby snacks, and then SpongeBob smelled like a sponge.
You know what? If they
And-
really wanted to find, if they really wanted to find the Zodiac Killer, no, dude. If you scratch the Scooby Doo, you'd smell like peanut butter, and if you scratch Shaggy, you'd smell like dried cum and dog breath. No, but no, dude. If they really wanted to catch the Zodiac Killer, they should have just got the mystery team.
Oh my god.
Row, and then you see the Zodiac Killer fucking shooting teenagers. Ray were
That's
riding a
fucking-
ruck.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Oh, Raggy. Like, what's wrong, Scoob? We really Randy.
Oh my god.
And then they do that run off thing after they hear the voice.
Velma's like shaking it. She's like, Scooby, will you go attack that man for a Scooby snack? And then he's like, oh, and he's like, how about for 2 Scooby snacks? And then Fred gets shot.
Later, and then it's on the news. Later, Scooby Dooby Doo was found with with ammunition, Winchester Western Super X copper coated long. Wait, what is it? Long rifle ammunition in his chest and skull.
Poor dog. No, but so obviously they never found the killer, but the police did publicly accuse Arthur Allen. He was a school teacher and a convicted sex offender, but he ended up dying in '92, and obviously
Yeah, and
that
also
wasn't the man.
none of the victims were and it stated this several times. Every time I see the thing, it was like none of them were sexually molested. Every time it's like
Yeah.
like that's what the cops were looking for every time they'd lift up the woman's skirt and they're like, nope, this one didn't get raped.
Well, there was Jack Terrence was also a big suspect. Do you guys have
Who's that?
anything?
I
Okay.
didn't. Well, I didn't get to any of the suspects because I only got to like the murders. So if you got
So
suspects,
he was a
go
former
for it.
enlistee in the Air Force and the Navy, a ham radio operator. He worked for a steel company. He was a foreman at General Electric and attendant, and then he was also an attendant on a laundromat. This is just like his career history, right here. But his stepson reported him as possible suspect after finding a number of pieces of what he thought were evidence that his stepfather was the Zodiac Killer. Items he handed over to the authorities included the following: handwriting samples, a hood similar to the one reported by surviving victims, a knife with blood stains on it, undeveloped film with gruesome images, taped phone conversations where Terrence hints he may have been the Zodiac. The problem with this, though, is that the FBI did DNA testing to either incriminate or rule him out, but they came back as inconclusive.
There was a
So it wasn't
Yeah,
a yes.
conclusive.
It wasn't a yes or no. It's just what they didn't have enough evidence. I remember this one. This was like I believe this shit happened like when the guy was old. He died in 2006, and I think his stepson or something like that found some of his stuff, or I think it was after he died, possibly.
one of the second victim shootings, whatever. Farron and Magoo. I'm just gonna say Magoo because that's what I've been saying in my head. Magoo. So
Magoo.
apparently in 1991, he was shown photos of a police lineup by George Ballwart of the Vallejo Police Department, and he identified Arthur Leigh Allen. Was that the one you were talking about? Did someone say Allen? I thought someone did.
Yeah.
Oh,
was a
okay.
school
Yeah.
He was a teacher
Okay,
until he
yeah.
got caught molesting kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was one of the top suspects, but
Is that how he
apparently,
got caught? Is that how he became a sex offender? Because he was fucking the kids? Well, obviously
Yeah,
that's how he did it, but I mean, like at the school.
I thought you said the Allen thing.
He
but it
was jailed for child molestation during the period that the Zodiac stopped killing. He was in jail.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why a lot of people do think it is Arthur Lee Allen, is because his timeline when he was out of jail was when the killings happened, and then they just all of a sudden stopped, no correspondence, and it was just happened to line up with the time that he was in jail. And when talking about serial killers, a lot of them are sexual deviants of some nature.
Yeah, and that would make sense because like a lot of people in cars, like it's like, oh, these guys are about to fuck. Like he's kind of But
I
yeah,
can read what I got in the book right here because it'll tell his occupation history and stuff like that. Or
okay, I was just gonna just say the reason why God damn it! I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
the reason why he was ruled out.
Yeah, well, no, the reason why Magoo never identified him in the past, because this was in 1991 when Magoo, I don't know how you say that name.
It was a photo lineup.
Yeah, it was a photo lineup, and the reason when they asked why didn't he know before, it's because he said back then, apparently, like allegedly, they only gave him names of possible suspects and never photos of their faces, which is hilarious to me because that's kind of like the police are going, "Excuse me, sir," like when he's in the hospital because when he survived, they're like, "Excuse me."
Did he happen to say his full name?
It's like
Social security number.
But it's like, excuse me, sir. I know you're still trying to recover, but can you tell me if any of these names sound like one that's capable of shooting you? Like, it's just like, here's a bunch of names. Which one of these sounds like a shooter?
John Jacobs.
So
Michael Mathers.
If they said, if this statement was true, then that's like one of the biggest, the history of one of the biggest police blunders in their whole department.
The thing with Arthur Lee Allen is he was the prime suspect, and in like the Zodiac movie, they kind of like hint that he was it in the movie, the newer movie. You know, that's like the big guy that they show he has a Zodiac watch on and stuff like that. But so he was considered the prime suspect. But he was dishonorably discharged from the Navy. He worked as a teacher at an elementary school. He also was a sailmaker, a lifeguard, and he was also found with blood-stained knives. But he claimed it was from chicken blood, which is like if you butcher a fresh chicken, they bleed quite a bit. But their blood is like bright. It's like a bright red. It's not as dark as like if you cut yourself. But yeah, he was jailed for child molestation during the period the Zodiac stopped killing. But the problem with this whole thing, the reason they couldn't arrest him was because his fingerprints and handwriting samples were not a match. DNA testing was done using stamps from the envelopes and came back negative. However, it was known that Allen did not like licking stamps because the taste of glue made him feel sick. And then in the movie, it had said that he was ambidextrous.
If I was a murderer mailing in fucking
it was said that he was ambidextrous also in the movie, and that he wrote the letters with his other hand. So like when they went and tested his handwriting, he wrote with the hand that he didn't write the letters with. That was like
I never understood that, like the testing of the handwriting, because I did. Because I was when I was a kid, I wrote some shit on, when I was in daycare. I'd write on shit, just cuss words and stuff because I thought it was funny.
Hold the pencil different and then start writing.
But yeah, so like they thought it was me and they accused me of it. And they're like, Casey, write your name right here. And I knew what it was for. Like, I'm not stupid. Even though I was a kid, I was like, they're onto my trail. So I just shook my hand a little bit when I was writing.
I've done that same thing in school.
If you hold it between your first two fingers, you know how some people hold a pencil between their like middle and ring.
To another popular style of holding a pencil,
and then you write like that. It's gonna look different.
Yeah, like me and Matthew both hold pencils differently. If I were to hold it the same way he did, it's not gonna look the same as the way I hold it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
like
it
I
is.
got away
I
with
hold
it.
it
So
right
I
now,
don't, I
dude.
don't feel
Just
like a
saying, people-
handwriting analysis unless they found something that he wrote without them saying, "Hey, write this sentence."
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's the only thing. You can go ahead and continue, Mike. I just don't understand how that would
Yeah,
be
you know, it'd
Let me
be
get-
funny.
a
It's like
good forensic
Let me go
thing to
back to the
use.
page I was at because there was another one.
I need to turn a light on.
There was another one that was considered it. Suspect Louis Myers. He lived from 1951 to 2002. And apparently he confessed on his deathbed that he was the Zodiac Killer.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I saw something about that.
Yeah, he attended the same schools as the first victims. He worked at the same place as the second female victim. He was able to access the military boots through his father's work. He served in the army. He was a long-haul truck driver, which would explain why there was killings in LA and shit like that. Petty theft, and he had a petty theft and disorderly conduct charge and conviction, and he was stationed in Germany at a military base during the period that the Zodiac wasn't killing. The problem is, he did not fit the physical description. Which
Was that the
physical
guy?
description is he was approximately 5'8" to 5'10" in height, curly brown or light reddish brown hair worn in a crew cut, wearing horn-rimmed eyeglasses, and usually wore dark clothing. Usually wool trousers and dark navy blue or black windbreaker jacket, distinctive military chukka boots known as wing walkers, medium or slight stocky build, odd walking gait, shoe print sizes with 10.5, glove size 7, slow monotone voice.
See, that's crazy. Because that Magoo guy said that it was a white male with the 5'8" or 5'9", and he
And
said
crew
that
cut.
That's what that.
yeah, and he said he was in his late 20s or early 30s with a stocky build, round face, and brown hair. And I was thinking, round face and stocky build. All it's missing is the whiskey colored hair, and it might have been me. Time travel. Just
No, was that the one, that guy who on the deathbed, was that the one he confessed it to whoever was with him at his deathbed and told him to write a book about it?
I don't know.
What are the guys like? Keep my family's name out your mouth.
Because that
before it dies." Like,
one would be
gotcha.
cool
If
if it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is what I did, this is how I did it, write a book about me. I feel like that would, like if it's the same guy, like I feel like that person was just probably blowing smoke up someone's ass, and he's like, well, this guy died, he has no family, I'm just gonna say that he was a Zodiac and write a book about him.
No, dude, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if that happened or not, but I feel like that would be like some shady shit that somebody would probably try doing.
You really
Especially if it was at the height of it, or like people like, because when did this guy die? What year was it?
Oh, the one that confessed, 2002.
Yeah. So I guess the other, when was the first cipher get decoded? What year was that? I forgot. Let me look
The thing with this guy too, this one that I'm talking about, is he went to school with the first ones. He was younger than the rest.
Like I guess it was 69. So I guess it was a long. I guess it was quite a distance. But I guess I don't know. That would be a long con. I feel like that'd be a lot of work to put in just to bullshit. So never mind.
Yeah.
If they were close, when the cipher got decoded, I was like, oh, maybe they were trying to do it, but it was all the way back in like 69 when the first one got decoded.
I know there's a lot of fucking god damn it, can't think. Fucking hurricanes.
Yeah, 69.
There's a lot of controversy around the first death, because it was like the one with the least information other than just the names, really.
David Arthur Faraday.
Yeah, it was, but it was I was just looking.
Are you talking one of the suspected ones, like
one of the suspected
Robert Domingo and Linda Edwards?
Well, there was another popular one in the I don't know, in the 90s. The former Vallejo Police Department detective John Lynch claimed that they were murdered because Faraday was aware of a drug deal and talked openly about who was involved with it. So they're saying that it could have been like a hit of drug dealers just randomly. But I mean, honestly, who knows? They were just, I read some things where they were saying that out of all the kills, like that was the least precise by the Zodiac Killer, other than listing the names of the crime.
So David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were the ones in the car. But in 1963, in 1963, there was a similar one. This one is suspected, it's not proved, on June 4th, 1963, of another 2 people in a car, being Robert Domingo and Linda Edwards, 2 teenagers. Well, 17 and 18.
But
We can go
you guys
through
know
all
how-
the 5 main ones that were attributed.
let's
If you guys want to
actually
do that,
I
And
would
this-
love to talk about the first ones.
Yeah, in this one, this book, it says his number of victims is 5 to 37.
yeah, that's what.
Because-
There's
yeah.
5 confirmed ones, but I guess he said that he killed 37 himself.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, if this guy's out here fucking like toying with the police, saying, "Oh, I killed these people," and these people end up showing up dead, who's to say that there's so many missing people?
Yeah, but also
in
the span of that time, you got to think, because to get away with it, you have to be very meticulous, and very crafty. It'd be understandable if it was an amount through a long amount of years. I don't know how long they're saying this reign lasts.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that how long. He doesn't say how long he's been at it. He
Yeah,
just
that's
says
true.
this is
That-
how many
that
people I've
part-
killed.
But if it was in like a short fucking span,
I
there's
mean-
no way he did all.
And
of them.
maybe he was doing them all low key to begin with. Like his first ones, he was doing low key, but then he was like, you know what? He's like, I'm
He
fucking
started
pretty good at
he
this.
started with the
I can start
homeless
fucking with the
people.
police, and then he starts making spectacles out of them. And he's like,
Maybe
no, I'm
he,
gonna fucking kill these
maybe
people and
he-
make a scene.
It's thought that
Quite
Zodiac
honestly,
served in the
it-
military. Maybe he served and killed
Well, and
like
then you
30 people in the
think about
military.
the time. Think about
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
timeline
true.
too. He could have been killing. He could have been killing like minorities.
I never
and,
even thought about that.
And he could have been killing like minorities and stuff in the country. And at the time, that didn't get as much coverage. He could have been killing
Yeah.
people of different ethnicities.
There's
stuff
a
and
big serial
practice
killer that
on
was from
things like
Atlanta
that.
that was like killing tons of
Yeah, and you couldn't.
people.
Nobody would cover it. It's like the Candyman movie, like kind of thing. It's like, oh, dude, nobody cares. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
another
that- like,
thing
dude,
in the
Back,
Richard
back then to them, it was like a victimless crime. It's like, oh, it's just another.
Richard Ramirez.
Wait, Matthew,
Who,
what'd
if
you
you
say?
Richard Ramirez.
There was like that murder in Yuba City too. It was similar like that.
Yeah. But yeah, like Richard Ramirez, he typically killed people in poorer areas and like
because
the
you get
ghetto
less coverage.
areas.
People
But
care
that's
more
where
about
that's where he
people-
was and stuff.
People care more about a rich white girl than they do about fucking anybody else.
Yeah, but
to get
then
more
again, like a
coverage
poor
for
white
it.
person gets killed, no one fucking cares either. It's,
Yeah, no,
it's,
yeah,
it's-
no,
I
that's
don't. I
true,
wouldn't say
too.
that it's.
But it would get more coverage.
Yeah,
is
back
what
then
I'm
it has to do
different
with race,
saying.
but it's like it's a financial thing also.
Yeah, but I mean, you
Um,
hear more stories about rich white girls going missing than
Oh,
you do
yeah.
about anybody else. But I'm just saying in general, like,
But
I-
yeah,
I
you know
think
how
that's a
many
statistical,
like serial killers killed like just exclusively killed hookers and just fucking went on
Yeah,
for
because
years
it's
because of
people
it.
that nobody gives a shit. Because again, we were talking about this before the pod. Police say, honestly, we're not going to
It's-
catch them. It's because there's
It's
nothing
like
behind
low.
it
It's
backing,
it's
man.
a low
Like,
priority in their
care.
eyes.
Yeah, it's like
They're like, no,
another
it's just
another homeless
fucking
person
criminal
died,
or something.
another
Yeah.
prostitute died, modern day, another prostitute died, another whatever died. Well, any genre or any era with the prostitute part.
Just in
And
their
homeless
eyes, they
people-
were above people, and anybody who was below them, like if they weren't in like a standard line of work, they were just like scum to them, and
Yeah.
that's, and that's how they viewed the people. It's like, oh yeah, or like if they were a different color and they end up dead, it's like, oh
about
yeah,
status
it's
of
like
the
they're
time.
not important enough for us to waste our
it's
man
the-
hours to go
yeah.
fucking do. So that's
It's the
why I feel
yeah.
like a lot of murderers got away with shit back in the day because nobody
Yeah.
gave a
It's
fuck.
the, it's
about.
the
Yeah,
status of the
dude.
era.
Yeah, that guy in Yuba City, Juan Corona, he killed like 25 people.
Was that
Holy fuck.
was that the original coronavirus?
Yes.
Dude, there was
Well,
just
and then
there was
I
just
think what it
recently
was,
a serial killer in Sacramento
Yeah, he was taking like labor, like
who
like-
was like shooting Mexican people, Mexican
Well,
dudes.
yeah, this guy
in
would take.
Sac.
I think he would basically have people. He would kill people and bury them in orchards, but he'd have workers like he'd have workers come over, kind of do shit, and then he would just kill them and bury
That's
them in the
fucking
orchard.
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
But a lot
need
of
you to
people don't
pick
know
these
that
apples,
because-
and I'm gonna murder you, bury you next to the trees, and then I'm gonna go hire another group of fucking workers. And he was probably just honestly, he was probably just because he was probably just targeting migrant workers too.
Yeah,
It's
no,
probably
that's
what
what
it
it
was.
was. Yeah. He was,
undocumented people. That's it,
That's
because you can
fucked
get
up.
away with that because they disappear easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's gonna come looking for him, especially if they're not supposed to be here on their own. Not saying all of them are not
Yeah,
supposed
not-
to be,
not
like
all of
not
them.
all of them are undocumented, but if it's a undocumented person gets killed, it's not going to be as easy to find them,
and
find
then-
out who
And
they
you know what's
are, and
crazy?
then find out who did it.
Well, and
This
then
guy's
let's
been
be
married
real.
twice and has
And they'll
4
probably
kids.
not even care that
That's
much
insane.
to find out.
Damn, 4 fucking kids. That's insane. The 4 kids part. No, just kidding. No,
The fact that they could be regular people on
Yeah.
the surface.
but yeah, the even if they were documented, I was gonna say, because they can easily be like, well, we haven't heard from them, so they must have like left back or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like they don't care because everybody's kind of
The Golden State Killer
people
got caught
shit.
as an old man, so he was someone's neighbor and just chilling for years.
we ate
fucking
ribs with
sipping-
this dude, but we didn't have
Well,
a clue.
They used to have that show that was on man, I missed
Dead
old school
giveaway.
Fox, but I think it was on Fox, but it was they was the one was like, oh yeah, I was married to a murderer or something, and then they were like married for like fucking 20
Married
years,
to a
and then they
murderer.
end up one day, this fucking police SWAT, raids their
Mhm.
house, and then homeboy gets arrested, and then he was like the most upstanding member of society, like everybody loved him, he was
Yeah.
a good guy, blah blah blah.
Went
But
to church
in
every
reality,
Sunday.
he was out there murdering fucking 10, 15 people, and then they're like, oh, I never
mean,
would have seen this guy doing
Both
this.
Gacy and Bundy were involved in local politics, and like members of the church and shit, and like that's
That
so
makes
was
sense to me. That
so was
politics and the
BTK.
church.
BTK was a fucking like the leader of his church or something. Like he was a
Makes
leader
sense.
of like he was a major pillar of the
Yeah, but
community.
Gacy was a fucking clown on the side, and he had dead kids in his fucking like whatever.
Yeah, Gacy would fucking dress up as
It had to have
a clown
smelled.
for
Oh, yeah,
parties.
dude.
Oh, it did
I
smell.
watched
It did
the
smell.
documentary and I laughed. It's fucked up, but I laughed. Like one of the people that got away, like the person went to his place and it's like, hey, you want to see a trick? And he's like, yeah, sure. And
Then he
he
put the
strapped
handcuffs,
up,
yeah.
on the kid. It's like he's like, what's the trick? It's like the trick is trying to get him off.
No, the trick is like you have to have the key, right, or something.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
trick is you have to have the key or whatever.
Yeah.
And he got away, but it's insane
Damn.
because it's like you think
Dude,
you'd start
Ga-
smelling something going past his house.
Yeah,
Fucking
like
Pennywise.
all serial killers are fucked up, but Gacy was pretty fucking.
Gacy is something else because he puts the terror in clowns.
Dude, what his
Take a-
preferred method of killing people was strangulation.
Yeah,
and he would take a rope and then he would twist like a rod or a wrench or something behind it to tighten it. Dude, one of the fucking victims, when they found them, their windpipe and their throat was that small,
Jesus
because
Christ.
that's how much he fucking cinched
Dude,
it
and
down.
not to mention that he had an
There's
American
like inch and a
hero's
half-
name. He had
inch and a half,
American
2
hero's
inches
name.
around.
John Wayne.
Like, dude, it's fucked up.
John Wayne
like-
Gacy.
Yeah, like that's like the Zodiac. He seemed like he seemed like more of an opportunity killer. Like there's been ones that have caught like the DC snipers, and shit like that. They're harder to catch because they don't target anyone in general. It's crimes of opportunity.
Yeah, the second victims on the Zodiac's like list, he literally, it was an abandoned, like a secluded parking lot. He came up with a flashlight like a police officer, and then
Yeah.
just bam, bam. Like
Yeah, and then there's the couple that was at the lake.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You know?
if we want, we can get into like
Oh, yeah.
the order,
Yeah,
like we
let's
said,
get into the
racking them
victims.
off by order.
But yeah, I would say that I think that one of the reasons the Zodiac wasn't killed is I think he didn't plan his killings, or I think he was just a murder by opportunity.
And then he was just like, "Oh, dope! I already got my gun." When in
Yeah.
Rome,
like that's usually like what starts to, like what gets a lot of killers caught is they will kill people in their immediate vicinity, or people that they know or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the ones that really rack up the fucking a lot of kills, deaths are the ones that just they just kill whoever.
so
They don't have a big pattern or whatever.
Yeah, they're like crime of passion kind of shit.
yeah, no, they were just like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this." So, okay, as we already said, Zodiac Killer has been directly linked to 5 murders and possibly more in Northern California or Central California, Casey and Mike,
yes,
in 1968 and 1969 too. Then, so yeah, we already got that part out of the way. I'll go ahead and read the David. The David. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just thought something that baffles me about the Zodiac too, unless he was killing and just like getting away with it really good, is a lot of killers they ramp up. They always have to do it more often. They ramp
until
up
they
in
eventually get
intensity.
caught, because it's an
Like
impulse.
Ted
It's like
Bundy.
it's like
Yeah.
an OCD thing. It's like they need to do it.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. He talked about
Was it called Dexter, the Dark Passenger? It's like it's just
yeah, Ted Bundy. He talked about like the killings that happened where he went to like the sorority house and beat 3 women to death with an oak branch. He didn't plan on doing that. He just walked by. It was like he couldn't control himself. By
So I
that
have
point,
a
he said
stick
that he
here.
couldn't control himself anymore.
So the first victims, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen. There we go.
Yeah.
So according to police reports, they were approximately attacked at. I kept getting different numbers for this, but the one I just wrote down was 11:15 p.m. But I kept seeing different numbers from different things.
I saw that they pulled in at 10:15 p.m. and their bodies were found at 11.
Okay, so then they were
So
just
between 10 and 11.
Okay, yeah. So between 10 and 11 p.m. in Faraday's station wagon on Lake Sherman Road, the killer
Moms.
apparently approached the vehicle and fired shots inside the vehicle in an attempt to force them out of the vehicle. I said vehicle way too many times. Faraday, who was age 17, was shot in the head while exiting the vehicle, dying in minutes. Jensen, who was only 16, attempted to flee on foot, but was shot 5 times in the back and died instantly at about 28 feet from the car. And yeah,
Well, I'd hope so. If I got shot 5 times and then died slowly, I'd be kind of pissed.
From what this, and I probably read this like really weird and wrote it down really weird, but it said the weapon used was a 22 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and then said the ammunition was Winchester Western Super X copper coated long rifle. Ammo.
Yeah, it's 22 long rifle. That's the standard 22 round.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, but the crime scene was
I
discovered.
thought the short ones are the standard ones and the long ones were the
No, the long rifles, they aren't like the common 22 round.
That's all
But you find it in handguns too.
Yeah.
But that shit, once it enters you, for at least for a
It
human being,
bounces.
most of the time, yeah, it doesn't. There's no like exit. Most of the time,
Like
it
a
just ricochets.
headshot with a 22, it bounces around in there.
It bounces around, yeah.
It has enough power to go through the skull, but not out the other side, and so it'll bounce around.
Yeah, so a 22 will mangle you from the inside.
Damn. So
That's why, like with gators and shit, they use 22s.
So the crime scene, I guess, was discovered.
I'm trying to
by
make sound
Noah.
effects of the bones.
Yeah. It's quite good on toast. Oh wait, no, that's the jelly.
Is that what like movie artists do when they do the sounds? They'll like take
Celery.
some stalks of celery, yeah, for like bone breaking. I'm just doing it with Cheez-Its.
Oh yeah, dude. I've always been interested in that stuff, and actually, that kind of plays into one of my
Foley.
ideas for a side pod. All right, so I don't know who Stella
Jumping back
Borges
into the Zodiac
is.
Killer.
I don't know exactly who Stella Borges is, but she was the one that found the body, or he. I don't really know. Or just
Borges?
crime.
Is Stella?
Oh, was that the friend?
Yeah, that was a friend of
Stella, yeah. You know what this though reminded me of? The whole timeline, because you guys know how Fallout's and fucking
Yeah,
whatever
it's like the
year, but it's
50s. Yeah.
future. Yeah. So it
I
kinda
guess
reminds me-
she lived nearby. She didn't. I guess it was. her friend.
okay. I heard shots, mummy. No, so
I'm just
yeah,
go investigate.
this whole crime scene of the guy running out of the car. As soon as he gets out, he gets fucking shot. And then when the girl's running, he turns around and shoots her multiple times. So it kind of reminded me of Fallout when you get bored, so you use your VATS on fleeing townsfolk, and all while playing Civilization, the Bongo 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 song by apparently it's from Danny Kaye. You play it on your Pit Boy, so he's just like blasting that shit. Bongo bongo bongo. I don't want to leave the Congo. Da, 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 da. But no, that's what it reminded me of. As soon as you go into the slow motion VATS, the guy gets out of the car, one shot critical to his head, and then the woman's running, and then you got to turn back around and do the rest of your VATS on her, and you have
So
zero.
he had a
VATS.
6-shooter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did he?
6 shots. Shot the dude once in the head, then
Oh yeah.
shot the chick 5 times.
Didn't even have to reload.
Efficient.
Well, they said the gun was 22 caliber semi-automatic pistol.
Oh yeah, that's not a
Oh,
six-shooter.
okay. Yeah,
So how
that's a
many
semi-auto.
shots does that thing hold?
Probably
You can
10.
Depends on the
You-
gun, but
Like
Oh,
yeah, with a 22, you're probably getting like
Well,
I don't know,
was he in
like
California?
12 to 20.
Northern
Was he-
California in the late 1960s.
I don't know when was the magazine ban on.
Dude, that was recent, dude. Way
was
recent.
recent. Oh yeah, so you
dude,
probably had way
that
more.
was like 5 to 10 years ago in between there.
yeah, it could have been any size that they had available, whatever their magazines were back in that day.
Well, it's like if it
Yep.
comes to stock magazine, I'm just thinking how many bullets you can stack on top of it. So it probably
22
be
is
like
a pretty small round, so you could
Yeah,
probably
that's
fit
what I
was thinking.
a bunch in there.
it's probably some kind of like 10 fucking mag, just like a 1911 or something. Probably stack up onto like 15 rounds in a handle, right, Matt? That seems about right.
Yeah, that's not
I don't know.
Like,
yeah,
like 10
I mean,
to
you
15 rounds probably.
could maybe because
I always know
I
when
mean,
you go shooting the 22 ammo is the first to go because it just goes by so fucking quick.
20
Shooting the
22 it's
feels like
very
shooting a
skinny.
fucking pellet gun,
The round,
Yeah.
the round is very small, so you could probably fit
like
a
an air
lot.
rifle.
Yeah, so I have no idea. I'm not really that savvy, but
Yeah, it probably I'd say anywhere from 8 to 15 rounds. That's just calling it good. 8 on the very low end.
mhm.
But I'm thinking 10 or more, definitely.
No, so the next murder was out the Blue Rock Springs murder on July 4th, 1969. That was in Rock Springs, Vallejo. What were you gonna say?
Was that the one by the lake?
This one, no, that's the next one.
This one was in a
Okay.
parking
So this,
lot.
yeah, this
Another
one was.
parking lot?
Well, I think that was like okay. So this one was. This was 4 miles away from the previous murder,
Yeah.
and so they parked in a parking lot. Yeah, and when they were parked there, another car pulled up and then drove away, and then 10 minutes
Oh,
later comes back
yeah.
and parks behind him, and then walks up with a flashlight and a 9mm, and blinds them, fires 5 times into both victims. They were hit several times, and
Didn't the woman survive?
No, the man did in this.
the man
man?
did. The
Oh.
killer walked away.
I don't know how you pronounce that. But
And then
I'm calling him
he walked away and he came back and he shot him 2 more times each
Yeah.
before leaving.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
they'll get more
hilarious to me,
rounds.
by the way. Can I just say something? The fact that not only like I read a couple of different things. Wikipedia said some of the shots went through good old Magoo there and hit the woman. I forget her name. Was it Jensen?
Darlene.
Darlene? Oh, okay. Well, anyways, it's not hilarious, but kind of is because he walked away and
Talk about
Magoo
Betty
there
Lou?
screamed in agony, and he's just like, "Motherfucker, was that a comeback and flawless victory?" My ass scream, and then came back and shot both of them again twice. He's like, "Fuck that."
Yeah.
So
What are the
Darlene
chances
was
that he ran out of ammo, had to go back, get a couple more rounds? put
That's
him
what
in
I
it?
thought of too. Honestly, it might not
probably.
have been his screams that brought him back, but he's screaming in agony, and he's just like, "God damn it!"
Yeah.
So Darlene was pronounced dead at the hospital. Michael, he survived the attack, but he was shot in the face, chest, and neck. Though he described the attacker as a 26 to 30-year-old male, about 195 to 200 pounds, maybe a bit more. White male, short brown, curly hair. And then on July 5th, 1969, at 12:40 a.m.,
Wait, I'm
a
sorry.
man
Can you
called.
say that? Did you say short round? Isn't that the character from Indiana Jones?
I said short, curly,
I thought you
short,
said
curly brown.
short. I thought you said short and round. My bad. Keep going.
But
That's
he
us,
called the
Joseph.
police station,
That's
claimed
us.
responsibility for the attack and the previous attack that happened. The previous 2 attacks that happened 6.5 months earlier, and the police traced the call to a gas station phone booth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah,
the second one.
like this one follows an MO, and like most of them follow an MO. It's always couples, young couples. At least for like a good amount.
Wonder.
I think the only one that
So-
was different was the taxi driver. Taxi
Yeah, I
cab
was gonna-
driver.
I was gonna say the guy who survived there. What was his name? Michael. I wonder if he went on to live a full life or what
Hey,
happened.
say his
with him.
last.
I
Say his last name.
I didn't write down their last names. I only wrote down their first names because I feel like that's more natural.
Well,
to say
his last name
first
was
name than
spelled.
their last name.
Yeah, but usually people use last names when it comes to like fucking whatever things. I just think it's funny. His last name is Magaeeu, I think. So I just been calling him Magoo. That's what I've been calling him, Magoo.
It's probably Magia. Is it Magia?
I wrote their last names down originally, like when I first, because I listened to them.
Joe,
Are you gonna tell us about the Lake Berryessa murder? Berryessa? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, you've never been there.
No,
it
I've
is
never
French.
been there.
I've never been there
My
either.
Joe.
That's
I've never
crazy to me
I've never
that-
hung out there, but I've driven past it many times.
Where is it? Where is Lake Berryessa?
So it's north of Napa. It's north of Vallejo.
Is it close to Vegeta?
It's kind of yeah, I've driven past it a couple times. Yeah. So it's like you always see the signs if you head down to the bay because you're driving through Vacaville and Fairfield and shit. You'll always see the signs. So at Lake Berryessa on September 27th, 1969, the next two victims were attacked by the Zodiac. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were tied up before being stabbed. Shepard was able to give a description of the shooter before she died a few days later after being shot. Hartnell survived the attack. That's all I got on it. But yeah, this one's fucky. So this couple is essentially just out enjoying the lake, having a picnic, what have you. And then Zodiac comes up in this weird fucking like it looks like a fucking Klansman outfit, but black, doesn't it? Like except without a pointy hat. It's not pointy, but it looks like a fucking like an executioner hood or something.
Where are
like
you
that.
seeing this picture at?
It was in the one. There's been a picture drawn of it, based on the description that the survivor for a couple of days gave, or the survivor gave, and then they used that in the movie.
Oh, I don't remember the movie. I've seen it like a long time ago, but
yeah, but it's like this fucking. It looks like a fucking Klansman outfit, is what it looks like, except it's all black, and then there's a Zodiac sign on it. But like instead of having a pointy hood, it's like more like an executioner's hood.
oh yeah, and that's the one. That's the one where he wore the sunglasses over the eye holes and shit.
Yeah, and then he comes up on them, holds them at gunpoint, ties them up, stabs the dude, and then shoots the woman, and then fucks off. It's and
Yeah,
the way he got them to help tie each other up or get tied up is he told them he wasn't kill them, he was just there to rob them, and then he didn't take any of their stuff, he just killed him. Well, killed one of them.
That's crazy. I think if anyone has me at gunpoint, they're gonna kill me, kind of thing. That's like my mentality.
Oh, yeah. If someone points a gun at me, it's like, well,
yeah, it's like
one of us is about to die.
Yeah, yeah. And that's it. Either you go along with it until you can get close enough, or you can figure out something. But it's like you don't tie anyone up. It's like that. You're already kind of fucked.
So with that one, it was did you say that like what he did after he killed him?
I have not got there yet. But go ahead and go ahead and go for it.
I wasn't sure if you were done with
I'm done with describing it. I just,
So what happened is Cecilia didn't tie up Brian too good. She tied him up loose, obviously,
Yeah.
so probably so he can escape. And then the killer found out about that, got pissed, stabbed Brian 6 times, Cecilia 10 times. I don't know. Did both of them die or just one of them?
one of them, I believe. I believe the woman died
One of them.
after a couple days. She was also shot.
Oh yeah, Brian lived. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
she on the way to the hospital, she fell into a coma and then she regained consciousness or never regained consciousness and died 2 days later.
Yeah.
But so the killer hiked back. He hiked after he killed him. He hiked up to their car, which is 500 yards away, drew the circle with the cross in it, and then wrote beneath it. He wrote Vallejo, 12/20/68. 7/4/90 or 69, September 27, 69, 6:30 by knife. and that was the message he wrote on the side.
Yeah,
of
it was
the car.
his killings.
Yeah. And then at 7:40 he called the Napa County Sheriff's Office, or Napa, sorry, not Nampa. Napa County Sheriff's Office, and
Napa Radix.
it's because there's a Nampa where I live, so that's why I said that. But
there's a Napa where we live too.
he said he wanted to. He said he called in and he's like, "Oh, I wish to report a murder. No, a double murder." And then he said he's the one who committed the crime. And then a reporter by the name of Pat Stanley found the phone still off the hook a few minutes later at the car wash a few blocks away from the sheriff's office. And the crime scene was 27 miles away from him. And the detectives lifted a small wet palm print, but were never able to match it to anybody.
Didn't he wear? He was wearing gloves too, like during the killing.
It was
But I guess
probably
he
just
took the gloves
probably
off.
just wet from the people, because they're by the lake, so maybe their pants were wet.
Well, he wore gloves during the killing, so maybe he washed his hands
Pussy.
afterwards.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe his hands were wet because of that.
So they
be moist.
so a man and a son, they were fishing nearby, and they're the ones who discovered the couple, and they're the ones who contacted the park rangers, and that's when they
Can you
Cecilia
imagine
was
walking
still,
up on something like that.
yeah, no, the
You're
girl was
just
still
out like
conscious.
taking your kid fishing, and then it's like, oh shit, there's 2 dead people here. Look away, son. Like,
Yeah,
dude, that would fucking suck. Like, I would not want to come up across a dead body.
yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't dead yet. They were fucking mangled pretty bad because Cecilia is the one who told the son and the father the description of the murderer, and then Brian, I'm pretty sure, was passed out at this point because, yeah, I guess he was a bitch. I don't know. Cecilia can take pain.
I think
No.
women have a
I feel
higher
like getting
pain
stabbed
tolerance.
6 times would be pretty fucking rough, honestly.
I'm looking
Like,
at
I've never been stabbed, but I've had
you'd go
things
into
stabbed
shock.
me.
You'd go into shock. You know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, for the fact that he was passed out, I made a joke and said he was a pussy, but I'm like, that's what I was saying. I was like, oh, it's probably pretty painful, obviously. And then, like, she was stabbed 10 times though, so kudos on her for staying conscious for when she could.
I'm going through these like pictures of like some of the shit, and it's like, my god, dude, why were cars so fucking boxy back then?
Hey, older cars are fucking sexy.
Yeah, some of them, but I mean, the taxi one, what is that, Paul Stein? That fucking car is too boxy. I ain't getting no boxy ass cab.
So what you're saying is you would never own like an old Cadillac.
No, dude, I probably would. I'm just fucking around. It's just because they're too fucking edged. Like everything has corners on it. Like I'm just looking at these old taxi cabs.
You want to know why? Because corners are fucking sexy.
It's like
very Minecrafty.
It's very Minecrafty. Everything's on
Why,
dude, I would never live in the 60s. Everything's
that's why I jack off to Minecraft Steve every night.
Oh, really? Dude, I jack off
boxes.
to the Minecraft sheep every night.
So, you got any more? We got to talk about the poor cab driver.
We already kind of started with the box cabs.
Yeah, so that was the last like couple, like the couple one. Now we're on to the cabbie.
And well, the thing with the previous 3 that we just talked about too, I believe they all happened within a couple months. Correct? Like within the same year. For sure. Didn't the cab one come later?
These
the
all
one
was in 69, but all these were like 68 to 69.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all these were within the same 2 years.
Yeah.
Which are the
That's a
only
year.
confirmed ones. Well, you know, fuck you, all right? I've been drinking. Why don't you eat my ass? You want to do some other math? What's fucking...
The first one was December 1968, and the second one was October 1969. So actually, it was less than a year. It was actually only 10 months.
You know what? I'm glad you wrote that down. Also, I hope you choke on a fucking baked potato, you piece of shit. I'm just kidding.
Oh, the potatoes. We got plenty of them up here.
So
So, yeah.
This one is Paul Lee Stein.
Yeah.
He was the oldest of them.
No relation.
Yeah, this guy looks like he probably was a pervert prior, or just really in the D&D, or both.
He was actually related to what the fucking R.L. Stein.
Are you
R.L.
serious?
No, I'm just kidding. But it's because his name was fucking Paul Lee Stein. So
Yeah.
so R.L. Stein.
Yeah, he's the oldest of them at 29. His two victims before that were 22 and then 16 and 17 before that.
Yeah, dude, he was he was up there in age. He was probably just bored at this point. He was just like, all right, I've had enough of killing couples before they fuck. Let me find like a guy that looks lonely as fuck and drives cabs.
This one was so weird because it broke the. That's why I think the Zodiac was an killer of opportunity because of this one killing. Like the other ones, they could have been planned. He could have seen a couple, followed them. You know what I mean? But then again, he could have just went to places where he knew couples went.
Yeah, he had a map. He had a map, and he marked all the fucking makeout points on it. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna patrol these every day. See what I can get." Because nobody made out with him.
I mean, with the three previous areas being the lake and the two parking areas, there's secluded areas that people go to be alone. You know, so again, it could be he knows that, and so it is a crime of opportunity, knowing that he could get away with it. But I don't know. Like I said, it's this one. It's the fucking cab one that makes me rethink this entire killer, because beforehand it's like, oh, someone.
Yeah.
If you're doing like a profile on him, I assume this is how it goes. Oh, someone who is targeting couples, possibly have been spurned in the past or some shit like that, which was a belief. They brought it up in the Zodiac movie and stuff like that. You build a profile on him like that, and then this killing just kind of throws it off.
Yeah, because they all, like, everybody has like an MO. This guy literally attacked a guy where people are going to be looking for him in public areas. Like fucking, he was killed. What does it say? Corner of Washington and Cherry Street. And a Presidio, I don't know how you say that, Heights neighborhood of San Francisco. He wasn't in a fucking secluded area, was he? That's just like on the middle of the street, like on the corner of a street.
Oh yeah,
so it was.
He was in the back of the cab and he shot him.
Oh, and
then he got out. And then he got out.
Taken too.
Yeah, so it was on October 11th, 1969.
Yeah, this is also the first one he robbed.
So this one might not even be connected.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, is he could have just taken credit for it, which people do believe that.
But on this one, so there was a missing part of his shirt from the guy who got killed, and then the Zodiac sent in that piece of shirt.
Oh, okay. Well, and that's all for that. That's just supporting my theory of a criminal network of Zodiac killers, the Zodiac network. I mean, it's a possibility. It's just multiple killers together.
Or if it's just like this, like one fucking family, it's all fucked up, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit.
Yeah.
So the reason, well, I guess, so the Zodiac got into the cab and he was like, "Oh, take me to the intersection of Mason and Gary Street," and then, or no, that's where he got picked up, and he requested to be driven to Washington and Maple. But I guess the cabbie overshot the street and went to Cherry, and then shot him in the head, and then took his wallet, keys, and tore part of his shirt. And then 3 teenagers saw him across the street at 9:55, called the police. They saw the guy wiping down the cab before he walked away. And then 2 police officers, Don Fook and Eric Zelms, they responded to the call, saw the guy walking down the sidewalk, talked to him for about 5 minutes, and then he went on about his business. And then they drove, met up with the guy. They said the guy that they talked to, the cops estimated the guy that they spoke to was between 35 and 45, about 5'10" with a crew cut. And the kids described him as 25 to 30 years old, about 5'8" to 5'9" with the crew cut. But I guess the radio dispatchers, when they got the call, I guess the dispatchers told the officers to look out for a black suspect, not a white suspect.
So when they talked to this guy who was probably most definitely the fucking killer. They were just like, what have you seen? Not, you know what I mean? Because they thought they were looking for a black dude, which is like, what the fuck, man? Come on, dispatcher, you fucking racist piece of shit. You could have caught this guy.
Yeah, so this well, I don't know if we want to get into the letters right now, but I can just go off on because this is like the second letter that the Zodiac sent out.
Yeah.
And this one involves Stein. So everyone thought that the Stein murder was a random robbery, all up until the point until the San Francisco Chronicle received a letter on October 13th from the Zodiac, and he claimed credit for the murder. On October 14th, they received another letter containing Paul Stein's shirt with the bloody shirt part to prove that he was the killer. Also included the threat that he was going to shoot the front tire out of a bus and pick up all the kiddies that they came bouncing out.
Yep.
And then we can get into those ones later. But
yeah, dude. Talk about causing a fucking panic in the community with that last letter.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm taking off work. I'm driving my kid to school. Be like, yes,
I wonder how
and then
they handle that. Like,
your boss would be like, yes, they put cop cars following the buses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At least in the movie.
Probably he might have actually, like, okay, so say he had the cop cars following the buses or whatever. He might have actually done that anyway, just to get all the cops, to be preoccupied to guarding these buses so he can go out and fucking do another murder right underneath their noses and be like, haha, you stupid cops.
This guy was
a smoke screen.
This guy was obviously a pretty smart guy, whoever the Zodiac was. Because one, just his fucking code stuff alone was intricate and fucking we fucking one just got solved in 2018. I am sure there's people that's super passionate about the 2020. I assume there's people that are super passionate about this and they fucking try hella hard at this. There's always people trying probably to fucking decode this shit.
Yeah, the first Zodiac 408 symbol cipher was solved in 1969 by
that doesn't sound that incredible when it's the same year he was active, so it doesn't seem like it was that long after.
Well, that was the first one, but there was 4 of them, and we've only solved 2 of them so far, and the second one was solved just 2 years ago.
Yeah,
there's still 2 that are unsolved.
Give one to Idris Elba; he'll solve it. He can do anything.
So on August 1st, 1969, that's when the three letters were sent out. One to the Vallejo Times, Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. They were all nearly identical. Each included 1/3 of the 408th cryptogram, and he demanded all of them be printed on the front page, or he'd go around all weekend killing people until in the night until he kills a dozen. And then the Chronicle published their 1/3 of the cryptogram on page 4 on the next day's edition. And then the police chief, Jack E. Stiltz, is quoted saying, "We're not satisfied that the letter was written by the murderer and requests the writer to send a second letter with more facts to prove his identity." And then that's when he responded to the chief's request for more details, and he gave details of the murders that have not been released to the public. And he also said that the police, when the police crack this code, they will have me. And then on August 8th, 1969, Donald and Betty Hardin, they're the ones who cracked it.
Which name did they use to crack the code in 2020? Was it Alan Lee?
I got it. It was Gary Francis Post. Poste.
Post. Okay.
That's just that video that I sent you guys. That's what it said in that video. So I'm not sure if that's actually true or not. I'm just going off of what that video said.
Yeah.
But then, so we talked about like Stein and his letter, and then what's it called? Let me see where. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I would need it to be. in this thing. Okay, so at 2 p.m. on October 20th, 1969, someone called the Oakland Police Department and claimed to be the Zodiac Killer, demanding that one of these two lawyers, they were, I guess, very prominent lawyers at the time, F. Lee Bailey or Melvin Belly, to go on a talk show on KGO TV hosted by Jim Dunbar. Melvin, I guess, was available, and he went on the show. And then a man claiming to be the Zodiac under the name of, like he was using the name of Sam, called several times, and the caller would not reveal his true identity because he was afraid of being sent to the gas chamber, which at the time was California's capital punishment. If you didn't know that.
Mhm.
And they scheduled a rendezvous outside a shop on Mission Street in Daly City, but no one arrived, and the call ended up being traced back to a mental institution. And I guess some guy there was giving the old fucking trickaroony to the people, to the public. But then, on November 8th, 1969, the Zodiac made another cryptogram consisting of 340 letters called the Z340, is what the people called it, not him. And in the decrypted message, the Zodiac denied being Sam. This is he denied being Sam, who spoke on the AM San Francisco, explaining that he was not afraid of the gas chamber because, quote, it will send me to paradise all the sooner.
Yeah, I believe he wrote somewhere that he believed that all the people that he killed would be his slaves in the afterlife.
Yeah, he was collecting souls.
Yeah.
And the one that I just read was the one that was solved in 2020. The one that said that he wasn't Sam, and that and then apparently that's the one that they used Gary Francis Post's name to solve that one. I don't know if that's true, just based off that video that I watched. I don't know if that's actually how these people figured it out or how they did that.
Yeah, I have no idea. But that's nuts.
I got a couple more, and then we can get into the murderer himself, if you guys like. So on November 9th, 1969, the Zodiac mailed a 7-page letter stating that 2 policemen stopped and spoke with him for 3 minutes after he shot Stein.
Yep.
And then December 20th, 1969, exactly 1 year after the murder of David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, the Zodiac mailed a letter to that lawyer. What the fuck is his name? One of the lawyers. One of the lawyers that he included. That's when they included the shirt, and said that he wanted the lawyer to assist him.
Yeah, that's fucking. He fucking fucked with them so much, man.
Yeah, definitely that.
Like, he would have been, like, if it was in today's times, he would have been caught immediately with all the shit
doorbell.
that he. Yeah.
And with how many phones we got flying around, dude, it's hard not to get caught on camera.
No, I'm just talking about just with the shit that he sent in. They'd be like, "We got your DNA off of it immediately." It's like.
Can't be showing up to court with 7 different semens in your panties.
Fuck.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh.
When he was talking about
the allegations that Kobe Bryant raped that girl, that apparently she had multiple semen.
There was multiple semen samples in her panties.
Samples in her,
That's fucking gross.
When they were trying to prove he raped her, they found multiple people's.
So what are we gonna talk about? What's the next thing again? Suspected killings.
Well, we can get into those, or we can get into the actual murderers, like who's the suspects of.
We already did that. I went through the suspects.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, earlier on.
Oh yeah, we did. We kind of did that backwards now, didn't we?
Well, I described him and I said the possible people that could be him, and then we went into the killings.
Well, did we talk about the copycat?
Do you guys
Zodiac?
know that they compared the fingerprints between Ted Bundy and the Zodiac cases just to make sure that they weren't by the same people? Yeah, and I guess Ted Bundy was cleared as a person of interest.
So there was a Zodiac copycat named Heriberto Eddie Seda. It was 20 years later in November of 1989, and he began his attacks in New York City, taking a more literal approach than the actual Zodiac Killer by murdering victims based on their zodiac signs. But he was
So he would really get to know them.
Yeah, that's
or like at least know when they're born.
Okay, so god damn, dude, I cannot fucking talk. What is this? So I guess he actually he sent letters to the police and the media too. He began stalking his victims, shooting each with a homemade gun at the scene of each crime. He left similar notes like that the Zodiac did, I guess. And then over the course of the next 3 years, he murdered like 3 New Yorkers and attempted to kill 5 more. He was discovered through witnesses, and because he left fingerprints on his notes, he engaged police in an unrelated shootout in 1996 and was arrested and convicted of the Zodiac copycat crimes. He was sentenced to 238 years in prison.
See, I don't know why they even sentence people like that. It's like, oh, you got 200 fucking years in prison. Dead. Just murder them.
Because they want you to see, damn, you got that many tallies on you.
Yeah. Oh, look, it looks like you're serving 300 years in prison. Well, there's no point in keeping you alive. You're gonna die in here. Let's fucking just get it over with. Go to the fucking slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
that's how it should be. Honestly, if you get that much time, it's pointless. They're gonna die in prison. We're just gonna support them the entire time.
That's
That's
crazy that he fucking. I don't know. That's just fucking crazy. I guess he apparently spent his free time. Sorry, he spent his free time reading magazines about guns and violence and like Soldier of Fortune books, or Soldier and Fortune magazines and books about serial killers. And he idolized the Zodiac Killer, whom he viewed as a servant of God. When
fucking whack job.
Yeah, he became physically abusive towards. Is that his daughter it's talking about? Oh no, he became physically abusive of his half sister. Oh, mostly. Wow,
that's not very nice.
When he was 16, he dropped out of high school when a firearm was found in his possession. I'm just skimming through facts of this guy. Oh, he had some. Yeah, he was definitely obsessed with them. He's got some of the same little symbol things and what looks like a pie chart above the thing.
Yeah, like circle with a cross on it.
Yeah, and then like another circle that has. Here, I'll show you guys a picture of it, but it's like a whole circle with 3 things. Is that like a normal Zodiac thing? I don't remember. I remember that
one on the left is.
Yeah, the left one is the Zodiac thing. It's
the other one looked like he was trying to do his math homework afterwards.
Yeah, like, fuck, I gotta make a pie chart real quick.
I make a pie chart, but I'm not gonna finish, and I'm gonna do the rest of my letter. What is this?
I'm just gonna copy off the person with me in class. I'm just gonna copy off whoever sits next to me.
But yeah, this guy seemed like he was just a yeah.
And peach mango cider.
Cheers, brother.
Oh, I thought you were cheersing.
Oh, sure. Pretty good.
This guy named Edward Edwards. Confirmed serial
has
killer.
2 first names.
Oh wait. I'm sorry. Yeah. Can I just one last thing of this guy?
I thought you were done with him. Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to find the weapon thing when it said a homemade gun. I was just reading random things. So he would shoot his victim. He would shoot seemingly targeted random people and would shoot them with homemade 9mm or 22 zip guns. I don't know what that is.
It's probably
Uh,
just 22.
Patricia Fonte was also stabbed over 100 times when she fought back.
Oh wow.
During his first shooting, he carried out blitz attacks. And then like later he started approaching his victims under false pretense. His goal
Ooh.
was to kill 12 people, one person for each zodiac sign. So that's what he meant by zodiac thing. Because I was like, how do you do that? For this,
Dude, the 22 zip gun looks so dope. It looks like a P90 almost, but smaller.
he would
It's like an Uzi size.
Oh, okay. So he really did get what you guys were saying before. He would, on at least some occasions, look through the victim's personal belongings to find some form of ID in order to find out their dates of birth. So he was killing people by zodiac sign, trying to. He had known victims in 1990. I said in 89.
You see, Joseph?
Or maybe that's when he started.
That's not how it looks. That's not what it looks like. That folds out, Casey. That unfolds. Yeah.
Because all the pictures because I went on images and that's all it looked like too.
Yeah, it folds out.
So,
I've seen those before.
So
that's all like this guy's holding it like that.
Okay.
So in 1990, he had one March 8th, Mario Orozco, 49.
25 round clip.
A Scorpio survived, shot in the back. March 29th, something. Montenegro.
Jermaine
34.
Montenegro.
Yeah. 34, a Gemini survived shot through the liver. God, dude, these people are surviving. He's terrible at being a serial killer.
I mean, they're homemade guns. Maybe they're not very accurate.
Yeah. May 31st, Joseph Proce, Proce, 78. Jesus Christ.
Proce,
Proche, yeah. Taurus shot in the kidney, died on June 24th. Well, that's not counting on his kill count. That's 78. June 19th, Larry Parham, 30, a cancer, survived shot in the chest. Dude, that is 3 survives out of 4. So August 10th, 1992.
The one dude he did kill, he got him in the kidney and it was an old fuck.
Yeah, so it's like
he just died from infection. He didn't even die from the shot.
Yeah, he probably died from fucking. So August 10th, 1992, Patricia Fonte, 39, a Leo, shot twice and stabbed 100+ times. That was the one I was talking about before.
So this is the copycat.
Yeah,
correct?
This is the copycat.
Yeah, that's
this 1993, June 4th, Jim Weber or Weber, it's Weber. 42, a Libra, like myself, survived, shot in the buttocks. God damn, of course you would. July 20th, Joseph.
Dude, imagine just like, you shot me in the ass.
July 20th, Joseph Diacone, I don't know. 40.
I don't know.
Probably. I don't. Weird last names. A Virgo shot in the neck. It doesn't say if that one died or not. October 2nd, Diane Ballard, 40, a Taurus, survived, shot in the neck. June 10th, 1994, an unidentified man injured. June 18th, 1996, the attack at his apartment. At his own apartment, he killed. Oh, yeah. Gladys, his sister, injured, shot in the back. Wilbur Rios, 23, Gladys's boyfriend, briefly held hostage. So he held this motherfucker hostage, shot his sister in the back. Several unnamed police officers. This must have been when he got arrested.
This is the shootout, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So attempted shot at them, but missed. So he went full on stormtrooper towards the end there.
Yeah. It sounds like he was just getting lucky beforehand, too.
Yeah.
What if the Zodiac was actually
this
a girl,
guy was a shitty
like wearing like short-cut hair, like she just cut her hair short and stuff, and just had like a burly build to her.
Well, they said that he had a really low voice. A low.
Oh, I didn't read anything about his voice, so I guess if he was talking. But I don't know. But what I was gonna say about Mr. Edward Edwards, he was a serial killer that committed 5 murders between 1977 and 1996. Sorry, and this detective John A. Cameron, I guess he's the one who attributed him to some of the Zodiac murders, but I guess all of his theories were met with universal disdain from, especially from the law enforcement community. Like nobody believed
Why?
shit that he was saying. I don't know. I didn't go into it. I'm just reading. I just read about these just now, so I just thought they were little interesting things before we get into honorable mentions of the killings. And then
honorable mentions? Should they be
Yeah.
dishonorable mentions?
well, people who were attributed to it but not like confirmed, And then there was Ted Kanaski. Is that how you say his name? Kanaski? He was a domestic terrorist and mathematician, also known as the Unabomber.
Oh,
He was investigated for possible
Wait.
connections.
Say the name again. Did you say what?
Ted Kanaski?
Oh, Krasinski.
Krasinski?
No.
The Unabomber. The
it's not-
Unabomber was Krasinski.
no, you're
It's
thinking of John Krasinski.
KACZYNSKI.
Wait, I thought you said the Unabomber. Didn't you say
It is.
Unabomber? Yeah, Unabomber is Krasinski.
Well, then that's my. I know it was it's a
It's
KACZYNSKI.
Krasinski. There's no R in it. There's no R.
Wait,
Krasinski?
it's not Krasinski. Oh, I thought the Unabomber was Krasinski.
So did I say it right? Krasinski?
Oh, you're
Krasinski.
right, but I thought
Krasinski
it was Krasinski.
is the actor from The Office.
Oh, you're right. Damn.
So I guess he was investigated for connections to the Zodiac Killer in 1996 because I guess he worked out in Northern California at the time of the Zodiac murders. But I guess that he was a suspect because he had an interest in cryptography and threatened the press into publishing his communications as well. But I guess the FBI and the San Francisco Police Department, based on fingerprints and handwriting comparison, he was dismissed from being a suspect.
Sorry, I'm just.
But that was crazy. I didn't know they even went into the Unabomber shit.
I had heard about that at one.
I don't know why I kept thinking of the actor Krasinski.
I was thinking when you said Krasinski, it reminded me of Archer.
And I was fucking. I don't know why my fucking brain
with the mole.
the two characters together.
I think that was the mole's name in the first episode was Krasinski, and then Archer's like Krasinski, German, possibly Jew. I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. But the next one for another suspect that they questioned was the Manson family. After the capture of Charles Manson and his murderous cult, a 1970 report by the California Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation stated that all male members of the Manson family have been investigated and eliminated as Zodiac suspects.
Yeah,
but I just thought it was crazy
that was like, have we done MK Ultra yet?
No, but we are this season.
Yeah. That's like they weren't serial killers. They were, you know.
So these next few, these are people that were attributed to the Zodiac killings, but not confirmed.
Suspected victims.
Yeah. So this one is Ray Davis. This happened in Oceanside, California, on April 9th, 1962. And I believe Oceanside is down by like San Diego area, Southern California, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I know I did some work out there, but I can't remember where exactly it was. But I know it was by the beach, obviously.
Cool related thing.
Didn't someone survive a Zodiac encounter because like they jumped out of a moving car after the Zodiac had made them throw their baby out the window of the moving car?
Oh, shit. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But you look that up, and I'm gonna talk about Mr. Ray Davis real quick. So on April 9th, 1962, the day before this murder, the police someone called the police department and told them, "I'm gonna pull something here in Oceanside, and you'll never be able to figure it out." And a few days later, someone called and told the police about the details of the murder. and said that the murder of Ray Davis, and said that he would kill a bus driver next.
And that is where the hip noose lingo bussin' comes from.
Oh, you guys hear that shit too? Kids say that all the time. Oh, that's bussin'. Like, what the fuck? You just
It's hit and miss. Like you hear people say it. Sometimes it sounds like normal, and then like a lot of people, it sounds super corny and cringy. It's like, ugh.
What about when the kids say you
So-
want to get sturdy?
What?
I'd much
idea.
rather hear someone say that than someone go.
It's when they're going to be doing some like
did you guys
dance move
have
when they
these
drop down to the
pancakes?
ground and like, oh, let's see
Okay.
you get sturdy.
Have you guys
So-
had these pancakes? They're bussin'.
Yeah. My kids
In
say it all the
on
time.
March 22nd, 1970, at approximately 11:15 p.m. on Highway 132 near Patterson, California, Kathleen Johns, age 32, and her infant daughter were on their way to visit to visit a relative in Petaluma, California. A man Johns later identified as Zodiac disabled her car as it was parked along the highway, then kidnapped her and her daughter. There were no witnesses. John's car was later found burned about 2 miles from where she claimed to have left it. Here's some of the details. Johns had pulled over because a man in another car had gestured that one of her wheels was wobbling. The man also pulled over and offered to fix the problem. Instead, he seemingly made it worse. When Johns pulled back out onto the highway, the wheel came off. Once again, he offered to help. The man convinced her to accept a ride to a service station. However, according to Johns, the man drove her and her baby around a desolate back roads near the town of Tracy for almost 2 hours, threatening to kill them. The man was approximately 30 years old, 5'9", 160 pounds, had short dark hair, and was wearing heavy rimmed glasses and dark clothing. Clutching her daughter, Johns was finally able to escape and found a ride to a nearby town. Once at the police station, Johns spotted the Zodiac wanted post and frantically identified him as being responsible for the abduction. Over the next few days, San Francisco major newspaper The Chronicle and The Examiner ran stories on the incident. On July 24th, 1970, Zodiac mailed a letter to The Chronicle, apparently taking credit for the crime.
I just want to say when
So
you
apparently,
Oh, yes,
When
I
you-
did. Kathleen Johns, you said, right?
in the movie,
Oh, yeah.
like
I
in the
didn't.
movie and stuff,
I
it
wrote-
says
I
like
didn't
the
get
dude
to it.
told her to throw the baby out the window, and then she like held the baby and jumped out of the car.
Yeah, because they're not
You-
gonna fucking murk a
when you kept
baby on
saying,
damn TV. That's it. Not TV, but a movie. That's not good. That's not good fucking filmography. In the public's eyes. I mean, it'd make for
I mean,
a great
it's a
story.
serial killer movie. If it
Well, yeah, I
happened-
know it'd make for a great story, but you don't see that shit. That's why, like, only in like the Human Centipede 2, you see that baby get squished after she accelerates on the gas.
yeah.
So we got the Ray Davis one, and so next is Bill Baker. This happened in Santa Barbara on June 4th, 1963. Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards were shot on a beach near Lompoc, Lompoc, Lompoc.
Lompoc.
And yeah, Lompoc. And police believe that the assailant attempted to bind the victims, but when they freed themselves and attempted to flee, the killer shot them repeatedly in the back and chest with a .22 caliber weapon. The killer then placed their bodies on inside a small shack and then tried, but unsuccessfully, to burn the structure to the ground.
That sounds kind of like the dude's MO.
Besides, like I don't understand like why he would,
The burning
because
thing.
he like because he was always like, oh, because I feel like he was like, oh, let's make a scene. Let me put this stuff on display. Like this is how my
when
artwork.
was this?
And this was happened in 1963.
Okay, so this is before.
Yeah,
Before
But I feel
all the
like-
confirmed ones.
like I mean, this could have been him, but I just don't understand. Well, I mean, I guess because he wanted to put it on display, maybe he wanted to put the bodies in there,
This-
so like it'd make a scene. Maybe
Well, this is before he had started, before everything. So this could be, he was afraid of getting caught. This might have been like one of his first.
Yeah, like, oh, I got to get rid of the evidence. Got to burn it. Got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so I don't know. But
Just
the
because
next
of the-
one is go ahead.
Because that came first, not after the Lake Berryessa one. I'd say that one is probably him.
Yeah, the first one that we talked about too was in 1962, so that also was before this one and before the
Yeah.
prior event. The next one that we're going to talk about is Sherry Joe Bates in Riverside, California, on October 30th, 1966. I didn't really read about this one. I just know that the police department received tips that the Zodiac killings and the circumstances surrounding Sherry Bates's death were similar. I can go to her death. She was
This was in SoCal too.
yes, just this is like right outside of LA, like Riverside, California. Not California, but well, it ain't California, but Riverside. I was gonna say Corona area, like that area.
Oh, I know where Riverside's at. I was just like, just to like, it's a ways away. Like the one that was on the beach, was that also in Southern California?
The let me.
The
see
one that
where
was
the
in
beach is.
63.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the beach because I can just look at it. The lake one, the Lake Herman one. Oh no, that was the road.
It was
Mary
Lompoc,
S,
right?
that
Lompoc.
one.
No, the one.
Oh,
We, the
you
one
talking about the honorable mention ones? Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so
it was Lompoc, right?
that was in Santa Barbara and on a beach near Lompoc. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how far Santa Barbara is from like map wise from Riverside. I don't think it's too far. I think it's only like a couple hour drive. So Sherry was found dead the next at 10:30. Well, neighbors heard screaming around 10:30 p.m. the prior night, and then she was found dead the next morning, a short distance from the library between the two abandoned houses, and that were ready for like they were getting ready for demolitions on the campus for renovations, and then the wires to her Volkswagen was distributor cap has been pulled out, and she was brutally beaten, stabbed to death. A man's Timex watch was torn, with the torn wristband was found nearby. The watch stopped at 12:24, but the police believe that the attack happened much earlier.
So he pulled the distributor out, so it won't start.
Yeah, the
And then-
wires out.
Yeah. So when she went to check it, he then beat her to death?
Yeah, I think it said he stabbed her to death.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Yeah,
She
sorry, I was
beaten and stabbed to death. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. That one that sounds kind of like a Ted Bundy move, to be honest. When was that one?
That one was in 1966
Hmm.
on October 30th. I don't know when Ted Bundy was active exactly, like what years and
Like the 80s
dates and shit. Yeah,
70s,
okay,
80s.
so
Late 70s,
But-
80s. I believe. Yeah.
all of Ted Bundy's killings though were all of his
yeah.
are all of his accounted for, or does he have some there's some out
There's
there that
there's
may
some
be
suspected
attributed?
ones where he said like he did something like California and stuff, and then he said he did ones that he won't tell him about because the victims were too young. So he killed kids. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
and then
anything.
Ted Bundy, like he confessed to like a good amount of them.
I mean, you already caught. Might as well fucking spill the beans. I mean, there's no point of
It took him a long time to
holding on.
confess. He did it when there was pretty much he knew he was gonna die. There's no way. Before that, every single time because he helped the FBI work on cases, every single time he says, "Well, if I was a killer, this is what I would do." That's how he always phrased it up until the very, very last moment.
If I was a murderer, like a serial killer, like in my thought process, after I get if I got caught and there was no chance of me getting out, and they're like, "Oh, tell us about all the people you killed," I'd be like, "Well, sit down, let me tell you a tale."
Yeah,
And I
that's
would
how
have
Ed
to fucking
Kemper
tell 'em.
was. Ed Kemper was very cooperative with the police.
Because I don't feel like
and
after that
a
point,
big reason
there's
we
no
have
point
the
of running away
yeah.
from it.
A big reason we have the understanding on serial killer psychology is because of Ed Kemper and fucking Bundy and stuff with the interviews we got from them, mostly being Ed Kemper.
Who was the guy that they just made the Netflix show about and he got all popular?
Mindhunter?
No. Serial killer.
Oh,
forgot his
fucking Yeah, that's
Can't think of his name right now.
Milwaukee Cannibal. It's Dahmer.
Dahmer, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I forgot what I was gonna say about it. Oh, yeah, he was very forthcoming about his murders and shit too. Like he was very clear. So I wonder if that went into the like their studies as well. So this next one was Kathleen Johns. This happened just west of Modesto on March 22nd, 1970 on Highway 132 near I-580. That was the one where they were abducted by the guy and with the infant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Said she was being drove around for approximately 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then the last one was Donna Lass. On March 22nd, 1971, a postcard to the Chronicle addressed to Paul Averly and believed to be from the Zodiac appeared to claim responsibility for the disappearance of Donna Lass on September 6, 1970. Made from a collage of advertisements and magazine letterings, it featured a scene from an advertisement for Forest Pine condominiums and the text Sierra Club sought victim 12, peeked through the pines, past Lake Tahoe areas, and around in the snow. The Zodiac circle cross symbol was in both the place of the usual, like where the return address would be, and the lower right section on the front face of the postcard. She was never found.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information on that one. Well, I'd say, what do you think about the Zodiac just in general? Do you have any, for all of you, do you guys have like any fucking theories on what suspect you think it was, or just anything?
I don't know any suspect in general that I would say is the Zodiac Killer of the suspects that we've even talked about, or like that I read about, because even if it was one of those people, we would never know until either after they're dead or unless they submit to some sort of
the one who
forensic
like confessed and was also like went to school with the first victims, worked with the second victims. It's like you knew them personally. That one for me, it was like, okay, shit, this guy there is some shit that would be like, yeah, this seems right. This seems like he is. Or the fucking Lee guy, the one that was the elementary school teacher and then went to jail for child molestation.
Yeah.
Those two are the ones that I'm just like, I think it could be either one of those. I kind of lean heavier towards the one who knew a couple of the victims personally, because if it was his first time killing, it probably would be someone he knew. You know?
Yeah, at least someone like he maybe knew a schedule, like kind of knew where they would be and stuff.
Yeah, plus I believe that's the guy who fucking said that he was the Zodiac on his deathbed, and it's like, huh. That and you live near them, but that could just be, I don't fucking know. We may never know, which would kind of suck. I kind of want it to be solved someday. Be like, oh, so this is who it is. And then they could piece together the fucking timelines and everything. Be like, oh, he was in this area during these years, so he might have killed these people. You know?
It's always going to be down to speculation, though, unless they get. Well, I mean, like, smoking
that's what happened with the Golden State Killer. I mean, they got him while he was alive, but they're like, oh shit, we got him on this stuff, and then they looked at just his past, like where he was when, and was like, oh shit, he could have killed these people, and then it was found out, oh yeah, he did. Something crazy about the Golden State Killer. You know who like was a big part in catching that motherfucker? Patton Oswalt's wife. Was really she wrote books, and she was really big on the Golden State Killer shit. Like a lot of her stuff is published and shit. Like it's pretty interesting how much she helped with that.
with the Golden State Killer, did the guy who got caught, was he ever investigated originally? Or
I
is he
believe
just
so.
like some
I
random?
believe so. Yeah.
I
And the
was
reason I
gonna
bring
say,
up the Golden State Killer during Zodiac is because a lot of their killings got mixed up because they were active around the same time. But the thing with the Golden State Killer that was
So it
different,
would be arguably
he
that,
started out as a burglar, so he broke into people's houses and killed them.
1974 to 86.
Yeah.
Murdered 13 people, raped 51, burglarized 120.
Yeah, it was a piece of shit.
Joseph James D'Angelo.
But yeah, Joe, what do you think about the Zodiac?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not kind of crazy. I mean, it's known as one of like the most. What do you call it?
It's one of the most famous unsolved murders
most
ever.
famous unsolved murders ever. But also, I mean, who's
It's like Zodiac and Jack the Ripper. Those are the big ones when it comes to all unsolved serial killer stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess what we should have done is like cross-reference other fucking big killings that were going on in the area too, because you never know. Like everything I came across, I kind of seen like confirmed yet unconfirmed those kills.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though, is like at this time there, like during from the 50s through up until like the 80s, like that 30 years, there was a lot of active serial killers. Like there was
it's not, and yeah.
So it's like there was overlaps and stuff. Like that's why, like, I mean, they fucking tested Bundy's stuff for Zodiac shit, you know. But it's
so who's to tell if it actually was or somebody that knew information, or like I said, if there was a Zodiac, a Zodiac fucking I can't remember what I said before. There was a Zodiac network. It was a group of serial killers killing multiple people, and only a few letters got out because it was the only few that somebody could actually the one person that could actually decode shit.
Yeah. Like that would be interesting, a network of killers, like a cult or something. Judging by like what he said about the afterlife, that kind of religious connotation to it, it could be a fucking cult
thing.
Yeah.
Zodiac could be a whole fucking cult. A cult. I was reading a thing too that said it's like, oh, some of the fucking coding things came from the Zodiac.
The only thing that I dispute on that one is on multiple occasions when there were survivors, they described him exactly the same.
Yeah, but also all white people look the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's just like a cool, like if you're trying to unwind in some kind of cool conspiracy story, it'd be a whole network thing. Honestly, it was probably a guy that was like, hey, these are secluded areas. We're in the fucking late 1960s. I'm just firing on people at will at this point. Like it's like, oh, cool. There's this couple. Hey, here's Magoo and fucking whatever. Let me pull out my flashlight. They get out because they grabbed out their fucking their identification card, like shit. They were getting ready to whatever. They thought it was a police officer. They didn't fucking know. He came and shined the light on them and just started firing on them. That's just like a random fucking thing. Shine a light in their eyes. Boom, 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 boom. Walked away, probably reloaded, came back, shot again. Like it's just somebody that was just like, hey, it's like you said, like an opportunity murderer. That's what he was just like, hey, these people are out here. I know the secluded spots where kids go to make out, or young adults, because I think they were like 22 and 19, weren't they? I thought they were a little older.
The first victims were 16 and 17.
Yeah, but the second ones, I thought they were like 22, 19 or something.
I think like 17, 18.
Oh, were
like
they?
That.
Wow.
I think so.
Well, I mean, he was just hitting fucking makeout spots.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was, So I think
it's interesting.
Where he could kill and not get caught easily, because secluded areas,
until it's officially solved, we're never gonna know.
I don't think it'll ever be solved, honestly.
Yeah. It's been so long, but you never know until it's like officially solved. If it ever does get solved, we'll never really know the motivations behind the killings, because the first ones could have been personal, or they, it's you never know. Some of them could have been personal, or it could have been crimes of opportunity. You just don't know, because we don't know who did it. We can't even come up with theories based on their mental state, because we don't know who it is. We don't know what people they knew. We don't know their background. Well, anyways, I think we've fleshed this out pretty good. Do you guys have any final statements or comments or questions?
No, I think it's pretty solid. I mean, there's so much about the Zodiac Killer. Like, I know we didn't cover everything, and there's like whole podcasts about it. So,
anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas for future episodes, please comment, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. I've been a host tonight, Mike.
Casey?
I'm Joe.
And I am Matt. Guys, this is kind of embarrassing. I have just learned from my co-hosts that my output resembles a female Stephen Hawking voice. When I first calibrated the speech module, it was supposed to sound cool, affectionate, yet manly. Kind of like an amalgamation of John Stamos, John Wayne, and Pee Wee Herman. Oh well, at least it's not the voice of a preteen micro dick like my brother's.
Why don't you fuck off?
No, fuck you, you fat phallus feelin' foreskin flickin' fishy fingering fuckwad. Thank you for tuning in to the Conspiracy Outpost.